Unfortunately, slave labor is behind all sorts of products, everything from carpets and cocoa to bricks and steel. Without meaning to, we indirectly support the enslavement and exploitation of millions of people. The problem seems overwhelming, but there are organizations making headway. Here are 3 examples of solutions you will find on changemakers.net and how you can get involved. The Washington, D.C.-based organization Rugmark is part of our mosaic of solutions in the Changemakers Ending Global Slavery competition. Executive Director Nina Smith explains why buying Rugmark's products can change the situation for hundreds of thousands of child laborers in India, Nepal, and Pakistan.
We are approaching child labor from the market side of sort of root cause. So essentially the theory behind Rugmark is that if we can create a humanitarian marketplace, one in which consumers choose to buy certified child labor-free rugs, then a message is sent down the supply chain that child labor won't be tolerated. A percentage of the price of those certified rugs goes to fund child rescue, rehabilitation, and education. Our offices in producer countries conduct random surprise inspections at the factories and loom sites where licensed companies are producing their rugs. We recently launched a campaign called The Most Beautiful Rug, with the idea being that a rug made by child labor is ugly no matter what it looks like. Between the years of about 1996 to 2004, in Nepal, child labor in the carpet industry reduced from about 11% of the workforce to about 2%. We can literally achieve our mission within the next 10 years and prove that on an industry-wide basis we can eliminate child labor.
Based in Sagamore, Massachusetts, the Emancipation Network is one of the entries in the Changemakers Ending Global Slavery competition. The organization offers at-risk women and survivors of sex trafficking and slave labor self-empowering economic alternatives. Co-founder John Berger talks about the organization's Made by Survivors products and how the organization works with NGOs in India and Nepal to create job opportunities.
When you deal with these incredibly poor villages, it can be as little as a man walking into town saying, you know, I'm looking for a wife and I'm not asking for a big dowry. In fact, I'll take no dowry. And they stay there for a couple of weeks and everything seems great. The next thing you know, they disappear with your daughter and you never see them again. We're trying to help people identify as adults and what they're going through now as opposed to what they went through in the past. The woman in front of the sewing machine there is with a program in Nepal called Hattie Designs. Those women were rescued out of circuses in Nepal, which are kind of traveling shows and brothels linked together. So we actually buy the products from them and then market the products that they make in the U.S. As made by survivor products. In a lot of the communities we work with, artisanal crafts reserved for men. So block printing is a very common production technique and art form in India, traditionally done by men. So this nonprofit is not only providing a range of services to the women, but they're also teaching them in skills that we use when we help them build businesses and buy their products, but also break down some of those barriers as to what's appropriate for men and women to be doing in society.
Transfer USA is also in the mosaic of solutions for Changemakers Ending Global Slavery competition. This nonprofit, based in Oakland, California, audits American companies carrying the Fair Trade logo. Kate Burrill works in business development and discusses how buying Fair Trade certified products can prevent slave labor.
People are really desperate to find work, and they're desperate enough that they're willing to take a chance with somebody who is probably pretty shady, and if they weren't so desperate, they would probably recognize that this is not a good situation to get yourself into. The products that are being purchased in third world nations are being purchased whether or not they're being purchased well, whether it's cocoa beans or sugar or vanilla. I focus mainly on ingredients because that's where processed foods come in, and that kind of work means a lot of supply chain development in the United States. Fair trade was connected with the idea that if you can medically link producers and the markets that they work with, there's all kinds of benefits that spill out of it. Flow, with the Fair Trade Labeling Organization, has created worker standards that are pretty much universal at this point across all of the different commodities, whether it's sugar or cocoa or coffee, and they're set up on the basis of democratic cooperatives. It's self-policed within the cooperatives. You can see cooperatives that are increasingly expanding their reach. They have more members and they're making more money annually. Each cooperative, they get a floor price for their commodity and then they get a social premium. And the social premium is pretty interesting in that they have to, as a group, decide how are we going to spend this at the end of the year. They may decide we need a health clinic. There isn't the kind of investment that's being done in these communities unless the communities do it themselves. It's business empowerment. It's realizing what is your role in international business and how do you collect your fair share of it. And seeing those changes, I think, is some of the most powerful work that gets done.
Visit changemakers.net to join innovators who are posting solutions in our Ending Global Slavery competition. See their solutions and offer your comments, votes, and support. For Changemakers, this has been Alyssa Danagelis. Thank you for listening.